Welcome to Note Lab Mode. This is where we really dig into things, put common practices under the microscope.
That's right.
And today, we're diving into the world of supplements. I mean, it seems like everywhere you look, there's a new pill or powder promising, well, everything.
Better health, more energy, peak performance. The list goes on. And look, many people explore these, hoping to bridge nutritional gaps or just, feel their best.
Exactly. It's completely understandable.
And it's a huge industry built on that desire.
Mhm.
So in this Note Lab session, we're going to look closely at the research behind a, let's say, common supplement routine.
Okay.
We'll explore what the science actually says about these products, their benefits, maybe some drawbacks, the claims that don't quite stack up.
And how you can approach it all thoughtfully, because navigating this stuff can feel, well, overwhelming.
It really can.
So we're here to unpack it a bit, but before we jump right in, a quick word from our sponsor. Today's discussion is brought to you by CloutFit.ai. Now, if you're selling products online, this is really interesting. CloutFit.ai connects influencer outfits directly to your product inventory.
Clever.
Yeah, it makes their content instantly shoppable. So imagine seeing an influencer wearing your product, and your customers can just click and buy it right there.
That streamlines things.
Totally. It drives more sales, higher order value. So check them out. CloutFit.ai, that's CLOUTFIT.ai. Worth a look.
Good to know. And hey, if you find this exploration we're doing today helpful, please do share it. Share it with anyone you know who's curious about supplements.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, subscribe so you don't miss our future deep dives.
All right, let's get into it then. The big question today. What does the science actually tell us about some of the most common supplements people take?
And crucially, how can you make informed choices about what you're putting into your body?
Right, so maybe start with a quick overview, the basic idea behind supplements.
Sure. As we touched on, the idea is often filling nutritional gaps or maybe supporting specific health goals. But, and this is key, the effectiveness really varies.
Yes, how?
It depends on the supplement itself, the person taking it, their existing diet, their health status, and most importantly, what the actual research says about using it for a specific purpose. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's break down some of the heavy hitters. Starting with multivitamins, these seem like a basic, right? A safety net.
That's the common thinking, definitely. The purpose is to cover potential nutritional gaps, support general health. But the research doesn't really show strong benefits for preventing major diseases.
Like heart disease or cancer.
Exactly. Or cognitive decline. In most healthy adults who are already eating reasonably well, the evidence just isn't strongly there for that kind of broad prevention.
So popping a multi isn't necessarily making a huge difference for overall disease prevention if you're generally healthy.
For the average healthy person, probably not in a major way. The research suggests focusing on getting nutrients from whole foods first. Think of a multivitamin more as a targeted gap filler.
Okay, so when would they be genuinely useful then?
They can be useful for people with known nutrient deficiencies, confirmed by tests, or maybe for those on very restrictive diets, like certain vegan diets or those with absorption issues. Then it makes more sense.
Got it. And any downsides? Things to watch out for with multivitamins.
Yeah, overuse is a potential issue because they pack in a lot of different things. Taking high doses, maybe on top of other supplements, can lead to getting too much of certain vitamins or minerals.
And too much isn't always good.
Definitely not. Especially with fat-soluble vitamins or certain minerals. Excessive intake can actually be harmful.
Okay. Moving on to another really popular one, vitamin D. Lots of people take this, especially, if they don't get much sun.
Absolutely. Vitamin D is critical for bone health. It helps your body absorb calcium, and it plays a role in immune function too.
And the science backs this up.
For bone health, yes, the evidence is quite clear, especially for people with low sun exposure, older adults, or those with darker skin tones who naturally produce less. Its role in immunity is complex, but it definitely is involved.
Right. But I've also heard you can overdo vitamin D.
You can. Too much vitamin D, usually from high-dose supplements over time, can harm the kidneys and cause calcium to build up in your blood, which isn't good.
So moderation is key. Maybe getting levels checked.
Yeah, monitoring blood levels is often a good idea if you're taking significant doses, just to make sure you're in the right range.
Okay, let's talk calcium then. Linked to vitamin D often. Essential for strong bones, right?
It is vital for bone strength, yes, and also muscle function. It's particularly important as we age, especially for postmenopausal women, to help maintain bone density.
But is it straightforward? Just take calcium for bone health?
Well, it's essential, but the research has some nuances. While crucial for bones, some studies have pointed towards mixed results, even potential links between high supplemental calcium intake and increased risk for certain other health issues, like maybe some cancers or heart problems.
Yeah.
The data is a bit complex there.
Oh, interesting. So again, more isn't automatically better.
Exactly. Getting enough is important, often from diet first, but excessive supplemental calcium can cause problems like kidney stones too. It's about balance.
Okay. Shifting gears. Omega-3s, fish oil, often touted for heart and brain health.
Yes, and here the research is actually quite strong, particularly for heart health. There's good evidence that omega-3s can help lower triglycerides, that's a type of fat in the blood.
Right.
They can also help lower blood pressure slightly and generally reduce the risk factors associated with heart disease. Brain health links are researched too, but the heart health evidence is more robust.
That's encouraging. Any watchouts with fish oil?
The main thing is that at very high doses, omega-3s can have a blood thinning effect. So they might increase bleeding risk or interact with anticoagulant medications.
Ah, so definitely something to talk to your doctor about if you're on blood thinners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Essential conversation to have.
Okay, what about magnesium? Seems like it's popping up everywhere now for sleep, muscle cramps, mood.
Magnesium is involved in so many processes in the body, hundreds of them. Muscle and nerve function are big ones. There is some evidence, maybe not as strong as for omega-3s and heart health, but some evidence suggesting potential benefits for sleep quality, maybe migraine prevention.
Involved in a lot of stuff.
It really is.
And any downsides to supplementing with magnesium?
Generally well tolerated. But high doses from supplements, not food, can cause digestive upset, usually diarrhea. Toxicity is rare, but possible with very high intake.
Right. Now, collagen. This one is huge in the beauty world. Skin, hair, nails, joints. What's the real story?
This is a classic example where the marketing buzz might be, well, quite a bit ahead of the solid scientific evidence. Claims about glowing skin, stronger hair, healthier joints are everywhere. But the actual research supporting these benefits from taking collagen supplements is, let's say, less convincing.
Why is that? Doesn't it make sense that taking collagen helps your collagen?
It's not quite that direct. When you eat collagen, whether in food or a supplement, your digestive system breaks it down into amino acids, the basic building blocks.
Okay.
Your body then uses those amino acids wherever it needs them, maybe for muscle repair, maybe for making enzymes, maybe for building its own collagen. But there's no guarantee those specific amino acids will be reassembled into collagen right where you want them, like in your skin or joints.
Ah, so the body breaks it down and rebuilds, but doesn't necessarily send it straight to your face.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The idea that ingested collagen directly travels to and integrates into your skin or cartilage isn't strongly supported.
Okay.
So while it's generally safe, the noticeable benefits might be modest, if any, beyond just getting those amino acids. Probably not the miracle cure it's often made out to be.
Okay, maybe save some money there. What about something more focused on digestion? Psyllium husk.
Fiber. Yeah, psyllium husk is a type of soluble fiber, and the research here is actually very solid. It's well supported for improving digestive health, helping with regularity,
Good for gut health.
definitely, and it's also proven effective for lowering LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, and helping to manage blood sugar levels, especially after meals. It works by absorbing water and forming a gel.
Sounds pretty beneficial. Anything to keep in mind?
Absolutely crucial. You have to drink plenty of water with it. If you don't, it can actually cause bloating, discomfort, or even blockages. And it can sometimes interfere with the absorption of certain medications, so timing matters.
Good tip. Okay, let's switch to the fitness side. Beta-Alanine for workout performance.
Yeah, beta-alanine is an amino acid. The research suggests it can help improve performance in high-intensity exercise, the kind that lasts roughly between, say, 30 seconds and maybe up to 10 minutes.
Like sprints or intense weightlifting sets.
Exactly. It helps buffer the acid that builds up in your muscles during that kind of intense effort, potentially delaying fatigue. But more research is needed on long-term effects and benefits for other types of exercise.
Any side effects with beta-alanine?
The most common one is a temporary tingling or pins and needles sensation, usually on the skin. It's called paresthesia. It's generally harmless but can be uncomfortable for some people, especially at higher doses.
All right, that tingling feeling. Okay, last one in this breakdown, creatine, another big one for fitness.
Creatine is probably one of the most extensively researched supplements out there, especially for athletic performance.
What's the verdict?
The verdict is pretty clear. It's effective. It's well supported by a huge amount of research for increasing muscle strength, muscle power, and muscle mass, particularly when combined with resistance training.
So it actually works for building muscle and strength.
Yes, the evidence is very strong for that specific purpose.
Any safety concerns with creatine?
For most healthy people, it's considered very safe, even long-term. There were some old myths about kidney damage, but extensive research hasn't borne that out in healthy individuals. However, if someone already has kidney issues, they should definitely talk to their doctor before using it. That's standard advice.
Okay, that covers a lot of common ones. Now, thinking about a general routine, are there important nutrients people might be overlooking? Things often missing.
Yeah, this really highlights why personalization is so important. A general routine might miss things critical for specific groups.
Like what?
Well, for instance, menstruating women often have higher iron needs and might need to consider supplementation if their intake is low. Vegetarians and vegans need to be mindful of vitamin B12, which is mainly found in animal products, and sometimes folate too.
Right. B12 is a big one for plant-based diets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And pregnant women have very specific increased needs for folate, iron, and other nutrients crucial for fetal development. Probiotics are another area not essential for everyone, but can be beneficial for gut health for specific individuals or conditions.
What about antioxidants like vitamin C and E? They're in everything.
They are, and they're important nutrients you get from food. But the evidence for taking high-dose supplements of vitamin C or E to prevent major diseases like heart disease or cancer in generally healthy people is actually quite weak.
Yeah.
Getting them from a balanced diet is usually sufficient and safer.
Interesting. So just because it's an antioxidant doesn't mean more is always better from a pill.
Exactly. The body's antioxidant system is complex, and flooding it with high doses from supplements doesn't necessarily improve outcomes and can sometimes even be detrimental.
That leads nicely into general side effects and watchouts. What are the big risks people should know about across the board with supplements if you're taking several things?
Several key risks. We touched on over-supplementation getting toxic levels, especially of fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, K, or minerals like iron or calcium. It can happen.
Okay. What else?
Interactions. Supplements can interact with prescription medications, over-the-counter drugs, or even other supplements, sometimes making drugs less effective, sometimes increasing side effects.
That sounds potentially serious.
It can be. Another major issue is quality control. The supplement industry isn't regulated as tightly as pharmaceuticals. So what's on the label isn't always what's in the bottle. There can be issues with purity, contamination, or incorrect dosages.
Wow. So you might not even be getting what you think you're paying for.
It's a possibility, unfortunately. Choosing reputable brands with third-party testing can help mitigate this, but it's still a concern. And finally, certain supplements might be risky if you have underlying health conditions like creatine and kidney disease or omega-3s and bleeding disorders.
Okay, so lots to consider there. You mentioned earlier this difference between evidence-based uses and maybe unsubstantiated claims. Can we quickly touch on that, like the hype versus the reality for some of these?
Sure. Let's take multivitamins again. Evidence supports using them for deficiency prevention in specific cases. The unsubstantiated claim is that they broadly prevent chronic diseases in well-nourished people. Vitamin D crucial for bone health. Less substantiated claim that it's a cure-all for boosting immunity against everything. Omega-3s. Good evidence for heart health markers like triglycerides. Less substantiated. Claims it's a general anti-aging marvel.
Collagen?
Collagen. Minimal strong evidence for major skin or joint rejuvenation from supplements. The claim that it dramatically reverses aging signs is largely unsubstantiated by current research. Psyllium. Great for digestion and cholesterol. Unsubstantiated. That it's a standalone weight loss miracle drug.
And the fitness ones.
Beta-Alanine. Evidence for improving high-intensity exercise performance.
Yes.
Less substantiated. That it's a primary muscle-building supplement on its own. Creatine. Strong evidence for muscle strength power. Less supported. Claims of major cognitive enhancement for everyone. It's about matching the supplement to the proven benefit.
That's incredibly clarifying. So, given all this complexity, what are the actionable steps? How can listeners optimize their approach if they're considering supplements?
Number one, and we keep coming back to this, prioritize a nutrient-rich, balanced diet. Food first. That's the foundation. Supplements are, well, supplementary.
Makes sense. Diet is primary.
Second, use supplements primarily to address documented deficiencies or very specific needs identified with a healthcare provider. Don't just guess.
So, maybe get tested if you suspect a deficiency.
Ideally, yes. Third, if you do choose supplements for a specific goal, like creatine for strength, choose ones with solid scientific evidence backing that specific use. Don't fall for the hype.
Okay, evidence-based choices.
Fourth, avoid megadoses unless they are specifically prescribed and monitored by a doctor. More is rarely better and can be harmful. Fifth, and this is crucial, talk to your doctor or registered dietitian before starting any new supplement. Especially if you have any health conditions, are pregnant or breastfeeding, or are taking any medications, even over-the-counter ones. Interactions are real.
Good advice. Anything else?
Yeah, finally, remember that your needs can change. Periodically reassess your supplement routine with your healthcare provider. What you needed last year might not be what you need now.
That's really practical advice. So let's try to wrap this up. What are the main takeaways here? The final thoughts on navigating the supplement world?
I think the core message is that supplements can be valuable tools in the right context for specific needs, but they are absolutely not a substitute for a healthy diet and lifestyle.
Right, not a magic fix.
Not at all. Many claims you see, especially online or in advertising, lack strong scientific backing. And there are genuine risks with just taking things indiscriminately. Toxicity, interactions, wasted money.
So the key is?
Personalization, moderation. Making choices based on evidence, not just marketing, and always involving a healthcare professional in the decision-making process.
Yeah.
That's the safest and most effective approach.
A fantastic summary. So the foundation is that balanced diet, and then supplements are considered carefully, thoughtfully, based on your individual needs and what the science actually shows.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And maybe, as a final thought for everyone listening, given all these complexities, the individual nature of it all, what's maybe one small, research-backed change you might consider in your own approach to health and well-being after hearing this? Something to mull over.
Great question to leave people with. Before we sign off, just one more quick reminder about our sponsor, CloutFit.ai. If you want to connect influencer marketing directly to your e-commerce sales, check them out. It's CloutFit.ai. CLOUTFIT.ai.
And if you found this conversation useful, please do share it around, let others know, and hit subscribe so you catch our next deep dive into another complex topic.
Thanks for tuning into Note Lab Mode.